All right, welcome everybody to our first ever ReExpanded YouTube channel creator interview. This time I am honored to meet with our founder and the editor of our Tales series, Nick Schuessler.
Hi, Wayne. I think that it's important to mention that your name is also on that book.
Yes,
So,
yes, it is. So for today, we're going to be focused on Tales from the Boonta Eve Classic, which yes does have my name on it right
mm,
next to Nick there. Um, but before we get into that, do you just want to talk about what got you into Star Wars overall, and then
yeah.
how that leads to the ReExpanded project?
It's funny. I hear this a lot in our demographic. The Lego Star Wars is really a pipeline that brings people in. So playing that, I mean, I didn't even really like the movies before that, and I just sort of got acclimated to it from there.
There
And
you go.
over a few years, those scholastic book fairs, your parents will find whatever junior book series they have at the time. And so I read Last of the Jedi before any of the other books.
That was actually about my path as well.
Yeah.
I still haven't actually read Jedi Apprentice or Jedi Quest.
Mm.
Um, I kind of I graduated to adult books too quickly.
Yeah. No,
But
no. It was definitely Last of the Jedi, and then Jedi Search was probably
okay,
my trajectory.
Rebel Force.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Yep.
actually, I didn't finish Jedi or Last of the Jedi. And then, spoiler alert, I'm reading Rebel Force, and they're like,
We
Ferris?
got some
It
spoilers.
was
Yeah,
like, wait a
we know
second.
that Ferris survives. Yep.
Yeah. Uh,
Well,
so I had to
those were.
go back and finish the other ones before I read Rebel Force.
Yep. I always thought it was interesting that they never really like completely confirmed about the identity of X7 and Rebel
Hmm.
Force, but they really strongly seem to imply it. Well, they
Yeah,
had the
it's
whole.
it's interesting. I mean, just the mentioning of it. When I was remembering it, I was very staunchly Trevor Flume is X7, or that's a spoiler, I guess, but I think people would know by now that we're spoiling Rebel Force. Um, the I strongly felt that Trevor was X7, and so then when I'm reading, uh, what was? Oh no, I went back and I reread, and reading it as an adult, I was like, no, I don't think that they are the same guy
Hmm,
anymore.
okay,
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I think with Last of the Jedi, uh, it makes you kind of wish that Trevor didn't end up that way.
yeah, yeah. It's
I don't know. I don't
I
know
don't
if
think it's
Jed would be a better fate, but
yeah, I don't know if it's. I wouldn't say it's disrespectful to Jude Watson's characters, but it is quite notable that this rebel force aimed to tie up their loose ends as well.
yeah. Yeah, and then speaking of tying up loose ends, you've done a lot of that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I do a lot of it personally, but I've definitely curated the loose ends.
That you have.
Mm.
Um, so loose ends, that was really what started ReExpanded in the early 2020s. It was
Yeah,
2022 or
20,
so.
2023 probably. I would say it was. Well, it's funny. I could actually go back to like my old Reddit posts, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
that it went back as far as 2019, where I'm posting online saying, "Hey guys, what if we continued the EU ourselves?" And then all these guys are like, "I've seen people talk about that for years now, and I don't want to try," or something like that. So every few years I was just saying something like that, and I don't know. Finally, uh, it took form, and I
Yeah.
think I can owe a lot to that to Hand of Thrawn and the universe that he had put together. That we are essentially building off of.
Yeah. Yeah, in
Yeah.
many ways.
Hmm.
Um, that was definitely something that came up at the convention. I remember
Yeah.
was people just like, "Oh, so are you just all based on this one dude?"
They thought I was Hand of Thrawn. They probably asked you too if you were Hand of
They
Thrawn.
did. Yeah, well, I wasn't the first one they asked. It was always they asked
Yeah.
you first, and then I was like process of elimination, then it must be you.
Yeah. Uh,
And then nope, he's just our reclusive little madman who writes all our stories.
yeah. Thanks to him for all of those to show off, because I mean he made the covers and the interiors of his own books too.
Oh, I didn't realize he did all the covers,
I think
or
like
most
not
of them.
not
Stewart got
yeah,
involved pretty at some point. He right.
yeah. I think like the first generation of each one was probably a original work from Hand of Throne 45.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So then going from there, Boonta Eve was really was Boonta Eve really the first re-expanded specific project?
Yeah, I would really have to go through my old messages and see which came first. Although you could, it depends what you would say ReExpanded is, because at that point, ReExpanded was a timeline. And it wasn't even this nice sheet that we have now. It was just a Google Doc that I wrote a lot of titles in. Yeah. And I mean,
Dang.
that's the other thing that you have to remember is the original sheet was not a ReExpanded. It was a Hand of Thrawn 45 timeline. And so I just added more stuff to it because all of these authors who are prolific enough to write a full novel, they're not really touching each other's work. And
They're not.
that we got very lucky with to be able to do what we do. But I mean, the server started 2024, like January.
Oh, so that
Yeah,
was like right before I got there then.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I think at that point we were going through.
Primarily on Facebook beforehand.
No. It was a few places. I mean, I frequent the deep core, r/Star Wars EU, Sith Empire,
Huh.
and I just gauge interest from people,
Huh.
which if we can jump into sort of the recruiting process, it's funny just the way I got Hand of Thrawn 45. I messaged him on fanfiction.net
Oh, really?
and I just asked him if he wanted to do it. And immediately he was like, put me down for Dud Bolt.
Dudbolt. So he was dead set right away on Dudbolt.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
And so how did the general process go with everybody else? Was this mostly that you had people that were kind of already involved in the re-expanded project, then that you already knew that kind of came into Boonta Eve, or all the re-expanded staples now, your Bethugas and your
Yeah.
Cryptixes and all that, like did they enter re-expanded through Boonta Eve, or how did that general process work?
It really is a synchronicity between uh, ReExpanded and Boonta Eve just converging together. As I brought people in, I was able to cross promote with this short story
Sure.
collection as well as work with their stories. I mean, Cthulhu, for example, I had found on the Jedi Council forums. I was very glad I was able to convince her to get a Discord account because I
What would we
struggle to
be without
message
her?
people on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
would not have our Slimore story.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Empire of Ashes is just crazy. And
That's also true.
I think I think Empire of Ashes is probably the best example of re-expanded in terms of actually being fan fiction as a universe with other authors because I think there's more Hand of Thrawn 45 references in there than there are really anybody else referencing other re-expanded projects.
Yeah, I think that the final polished version that you can see on AO3 or in the printables has references to Makati and his
Yep.
droid.
Forger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but then you have, I mean, a few people I just messaged in their comment sections on AO3,
Huh.
and you just have people pop in. That's where Mortis came from. Um,
Was
Trying to
Dark
think,
Days
there
already
was
going at that point then?
Dark Days was
Was Dark
finished
Days
by the
1?
time I found it.
Okay.
I think that was honestly, I'd say that that was all Cryptics
Okay, yeah.
had
Yeah,
found that
Cryptics
one.
did a lot. Did he was he involved prior to Boonta Eve?
Yeah, yeah, I would say Cryptics is definitely uh, second hand in putting a lot of this together. I mean, when this was just a timeline, he and I were sending things to each other, trying to iron things out. He was always communicating with authors. I just to the point where I'm contacting people. I have them join, but he would do a lot more legwork, sort of working out logistics with people because I can't be bothered to check Jedi Council forums or fanfiction.net messages too many times a week.
Yeah, so you were really busy on a lot of different websites at that point then. So
Mm,
you're on Jedi Council forums, you're on Discord, or not really Discord.
well, I am on
That
Discord, but not
that
in
was
that way.
just yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So Discord hadn't come about yet, so you're going Jedi Council forums, you're going AO3, fanfiction.net, Reddit, just kind of
Yeah.
anywhere you can find and cold calling people. Definitely nice now to
Yeah.
have the Discord server. Seems like I suppose it's been a little easier for these last two tales. You don't have to do as much of that.
Yeah. I think actually the Boonta, because I just called it Tales Workshop.
Yes, you
Um,
did. Yeah, and it
yeah,
still is
yeah.
that way.
I just want to see.
How it
Okay.
began.
Well, yeah. So I joined that server, which I assume would mean it was created this day, September 21st, 2023.
Okay.
It was shortly after Legends Con. Um,
Yeah, that would
and
be
I,
right after, like a week after.
yeah,
Did you get
um,
anybody from Legends Con?
not directly, but there's definitely authors I met there.
Well, yep.
Hmm. Um, I actually had Marcel had told me once that Brennan had tried to recruit him to do Tales, and I am very glad to have him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he said because he didn't know me. It's important to note he would not do it unless there was a story from Matt Wilkins or Christopher Nelson or Hand of Thrawn 45.
And you got one of the two.
I already had him, yeah. So
Yep.
Marcel was honor bound to write a story.
Dang, that's a good way to get somebody hooked.
Yeah.
Um, Christopher Nelson's on our Discord now, isn't he? I know we
He might
never.
be.
I don't think we ever got him to do and he works for us, but that's a name
Yeah.
I've heard. Matt Wilkins, I don't think
He doesn't
will
have
be doing Tales.
he doesn't have a big Discord that he uses regularly. I think I've spoken to him in an email,
Okay.
but outside of that, no.
Yeah, so you pulled everybody together. I suppose at some point the number of authors was pretty intimidating to try to get to 30 was
Mm,
I guess that wasn't the original goal because we added some late but to
no.
fill out the sheet, to fill out all the racers,
Mm,
went from intimidating and then suddenly filled up and
yeah.
for at least a little bit you were in a phase of rejecting people because I know I tried to get in and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Well,
I ended up writing 3 stories.
yes, and I am very grateful for that. I mean, I think that was it's hard to explain. I think that sometimes people uh they don't know what they're
Follow
signing
through.
up for.
Yeah,
Yeah. And life gets in the way.
does.
Yeah. But I mean, it all worked out. I'm glad that I started with Boonta because I think that was an important way to get people in. I
Yeah,
began to realize that everyone has their favorite pod racer.
everybody does. And
Yeah.
nobody knows anything about the other two.
Yeah.
I don't think, no, I know for a fact that I did not know anything about Betalim or Agnes Canavar before like clicking on their Wikipedia pages from those tales.
Yeah.
Um,
And I always gave myself the character that is like notable in the scene.
yep. Yeah, you did. So you got Sebulba right away. Was there
Mm.
uh, um, anybody that was kind of upset about how those character selections went down?
I would say most people uh, were good enough to kind of just pick another story.
Sure.
There were a few times where uh, I don't know if this happened where someone wanted a character and then whoever had them pulled out and they ended up getting them anyway.
Oh, sure.
I feel like at least once that would have happened.
Huh.
Um, I'm sure someone asked for Sebulba, but
Yeah.
that's the beauty of having that Google form or not Google form, the Google sheet, because then
We
people
did
were
not have
able
a
to look
Google
at
sheet at
this.
that point. It was a Google Doc.
Yeah, Google Doc. Yeah, so listing out all of the characters that were available and then
Yep. Yeah.
cold calling people by sending that to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
that that helped things. It was definitely there were times where someone uh, wanted a character but did not tell me
Oh.
that they were definitely going to do it. So then you
Oh,
have
you
multiple
reserved
people
it.
asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then was there anybody that was like, "Oh, I'll do it, but only if it's Dud Bolt," and then it's like, "Oh, sorry, he's taken."
I don't think
We had to
anyone
choose.
one did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the pod racers are definitely, I mean, everybody has their favorites, but they're also the most restrictive. Where with pretty much all the other characters in these subsequent tales, it's sort of plug and play, where you can have
Mm,
a story in mind, and that can be pretty much any character because we just don't know anything about anybody in Outlander Club or the
yeah.
Opera House really. Um, but Boonta Eve, there's a lot more lore and different kind of restrictions on what you could do, and of course that that yeah they're more distinctive. Everybody's got their
Mm,
favorites, um, which I think really played out for the better. I think this was, I mean, it's definitely my favorite of the three.
mm.
Not to get anybody not excited for Opera House, but
Hmm.
um, I think this was like just the right amount of restriction that you got, where we're playing within those constraints. I think really brought out the best in people.
Hmm. Yeah, no, very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. And then you got Brian Ben as well. Bry was a little later, right? Because you were still, I remember when I joined, you
Yes.
were still planning on doing that Ralph McQuarrie art as the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently that's not Ralph McQuarrie. I
Oh,
learned
really?
later. Yeah, no,
Huh.
that's I don't know what the artist's name is, but they had someone do other uh
Huh.
concept art for the prequels.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the plan. And this okay, yeah. So Bry had posted a uh, a picture of one of his art pieces, and it was sort of just this guess who this is. It
Yep.
wasn't a real contest, but I looked at this for 2 seconds and I was like, that's that dude from Galactic Battlegrounds, Etchu Shenjan.
Yeah.
And he was like, how did you figure this out? And
So that was how you got his attention.
yeah, that we became friends from that. He wanted to make it look more realistic because you could look online and the picture that they have depicting Etchu Shenjan looks like some dude that worked on the production team wearing a jacket. They took a picture in the parking lot.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like Jedi robes.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a random like jacket. Yeah.
Hmm. But
I guess
he
that's
offered to do me a an art piece, and at that point I was like, you've got the little bit of essence of, oh my god, what's his name?
issue
The
Shenjan.
Yeah, no. It was the guy who did all the Bantam covers.
Was that Drew Struzan or was he
Drew
later?
Struzan. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow, look at
that's
me
exactly
go.
who it was. It's like Bry has the essence of Drew
Yeah.
Struzan.
Yeah, they're really impressive
Mm-hmm.
pieces for anybody who hasn't already seen it. And then it
Mm-hmm.
goes oh wait, all the way around. It's tricky
Yeah.
when the camera is not mirrored. That's the default setting is to mirror the camera, which then makes it nice because they like things
Oh,
move the
yeah.
way you expect, but then nobody can read anything. I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that people can actually see the text normally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because in visualizing these, they were always going to be covers, and
yep,
that plays to it. Unlike a lot of art, you'll see,
yeah. When you're scavenging
it can't
around
be.
in the
Yeah, it can't be purposed the same way.
yeah,
Ben,
and
on the other hand, was someone I had already worked with a few times
oh,
just
really
to do little illustrations. Yeah, and I just asked him if he could do line art, which you'll see a lot of. He likes to share his sketches. Yeah, it started to. I'm not going to complain that someone wants to do a little extra. I
yeah,
appreciate the coloring and what was it? At some point, they were supposed to be full
shading.
black and white. Yeah. And then Ben said, could I add gray in here?
Yep,
And I was like, I don't see why not.
yeah. So
Yeah. Look
nowadays,
at some
like
of those.
the versions in the book look like this, where there's black, white, and gray.
Mm.
Or maybe there's even two shades of gray on some of these. Um, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty simple shading. Yeah.
Mm,
So
I
this
think he
one's got,
fixed one of them.
yeah,
Um,
like Sheezer,
yeah.
uh, got, he was another pretty late recruit, right?
Hmm. I'd
That was
say we
Star
had
Wars fan
about,
animations.
yeah, we had about 5 or maybe 10 people came to me within the final 3 months of production and pitched stories to me. Sometimes it worked out. Sometimes it pushed us to release the book maybe 4 months later than we had originally anticipated. But
Was it
yeah.
though? Because as I recall, Ooga Booga got his story in quick. That was that was real late, but he wrote that in I checked. It was 5 days.
It was
Um,
5 days. For some
it
reason, I
was
thought it
okay.
was like 2 weeks.
I looked. If you go to the Discord, it was our. Let me look. If I search for Shmi, it pops up. I think it was. I don't want to say the date wrong. Um,
Yeah.
uh, okay, here we go. So he shares his draft 9/15, and I get and then if you scroll up a bit, the Ooga Booga joined the Discord is on 9/11.
Mm.
So that would have been 5 days from the 11th to the 15th that he was working on that.
Mm.
Which of course made our little blurb in the intro video where we said he set our record for fastest short story ever written. Um, and then I learned that's no longer true because my holiday special story I wrote in 3 days.
I love that.
That was a
Oh,
man. I've been on that because
gotta look at that. Yeah.
I did that, and that was right after doing like the majority of Beethoven's Tale in
Mm.
about a 1 week span. Um, February was a busy month for me. Uh, but then anyway, I think the
Mm.
last one to finish was, and we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but was Stuart Bailey, wasn't it? With
I
Mars
think it
Duo?
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he'd been around for a little bit longer, or did you, or is he somebody that filled in?
No, no, no. I'd say I probably recruited him around summertime.
Okay, yeah,
Because at some point I remember say I don't know if I would have done this, but I was like, well, no, no, that's not what it was. Actually, I didn't recruit him to do that. I wanted him to format the cover,
yep.
and he
And then you didn't
counter
end up doing that.
proposed.
You formatted the cover, didn't you?
I that sort of. I formatted the paperback.
Okay,
Stuart formatted the hardcover because it
okay.
was to keep it in line with the original Tales custom hardcovers that he had designed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a divide that kind of happened later.
yeah.
Um,
So I had it in my mind I needed the Boonta book to look a certain way. I had Tales from the Bounty Hunters in my hand
yep.
while I was arranging that book.
Oh, and I was
Is
doing the same sort
heavily,
of thing
yeah.
with the interior formatting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then maybe before we get ahead of ourselves too far on
Mm-hmm.
the final production side, so you wrote two tales
Mm-hmm.
in this one. Sebulba was obviously the big one. He's got the big portrait on the cover, and for that one you brought in Racer Revenge of uh, of
Yeah.
all the tales. What was that a game you played?
No.
Was that just kind of a Wikipedia thing?
Yes.
Um,
So this is exactly how it happened. This was not conceived as a Tales tale. This was
oh,
something I wanted to write before ReExpanded because I'm
oh
looking
really?
at Sebulba's Wikipedia page and I'm thinking to myself, he does not appear after Racer Revenge. It's a whole story about Sebulba
And his two
wanting
kids show up.
revenge.
Yes.
Well,
And
there,
it's a
yes,
game, so it's completely open-ended. Like, depending on how well you play. Like Anakin could win, or Sebulba could win, or somebody else, right?
Yeah.
As I understand it, well, with those pod racer games, you can play as anybody. So
Hmm.
presumably, if you're good, so nobody knows canonically how that race ended. So that I
Yeah.
suppose gave you some fun flexibility because I imagine the outcome we got did not happen in most of the games. Uh,
No, I think it'd be kind of
when
hard to
yeah,
do
when
something like
people
that. They jump out of their pods and
yep.
they fix each other's. Yeah, yeah.
But that
Um,
wasn't the original ending you had. That was that one I get to take a little credit for.
yeah, you definitely steered me in the right direction with that. Well, there was an even
Ooh,
earlier
that's a good
draft of
pun
this.
there. Double
Yeah.
meaning.
uh, I I had planned to kill Sebulba.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yes, the very first
Well,
version
that
of
does
this.
because you said he never appears after Raise Your Revenge. That was
Yeah.
your motivation, so that makes
Hmm.
sense.
I needed to kill Sebulba, so I was going out and making him like this tragic, miserable guy um, who's just bitter to the point where he's going
He
to
kind of was at the beginning of your story.
yeah, he was going to get himself killed because he hated Anakin so much. And then and that still made it into the story. I'm playing with this whole uh oh wait, no, that
So
was later
originally you
actually.
so
Yeah.
originally you had Sebulba acting all of his own accord, and you didn't have the outside influence
Hmm.
with uh I guess another spoiler.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's read your story.
Yeah.
Then bringing in Granta Omega. So that was later as well.
Uh I think so. It would have been I had recently read Jedi Quest at that time. And you'll look at the you know, between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, there's not a lot of bad guys that you could really use, but
Sure.
like Granta Omega is in full swing at that time, so it makes perfect sense that he's involved in some way to mess around with Anakin.
Yep. Yeah. It
Mm.
it definitely was a fun little inclusion. I remember that took a little tweaking to get right. I remember being very confused reading your early drafts,
Yeah, yeah.
like
The
where Sebulba would just like completely like forget what he was thinking about because of
mhm.
Omega's like. And granted, as I said, I never read the Jedi Quest stuff, so maybe if you were somebody that read those, you'd be more on the lookout for Omega and you'd recognize it. But I
Yeah,
remember
I
that was really confusing initially. Um, to to reflect that Sebulba's being confused without confusing the reader.
mhm. I think that that is also something that we as ReExpanded run into as an issue a lot because we're pulling from all of these obscure sources, and I think that that confuses a lot of newer readers, which is why I always tell people don't read a lot of ReExpanded if you haven't
Read the book.
read
Yeah.
most of the EU. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a fair thing. And even for somebody like me, like I feel like I miss out on stuff because I, skipped over whatever. Like I've hardly
Hmm.
played any of the games. I played
Yeah.
Force Unleashed and Lego Star Wars like you. That was
Hmm.
about oh, I played Republic Heroes. Believe it or not.
Really?
Believe it or not. I used to be a huge
Surprising Wayne lore.
there's I used to be like actually a really big TCW guy.
uh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I
the
think it
the middle
was.
school phases that we all regret.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later. But
Okay.
um, what the other thing I was going to say about uh, just Sebulba's character at that time. I was trying real hard to sum it up, and I got it at the very end. And this line was supposed to be right before he dies. That it hits Sebulba that his greatest rival is a 9-year-old child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He's realizes, why am I doing this? I'm a loser.
Anakin wasn't quite
Yeah.
9 at that point, but
Well,
but
yes,
yeah,
yes.
still.
But he's spent all these years obsessed with him because of what he did when he was 9.
Yeah, yeah, he did. And yeah, that was.
Although they encounter each other in Jedi Quest.
But that was before.
That was before my
that was
story.
before your tale, and it sort of is the same beat where Anakin. That's where Sebulba doesn't race, but he coaches.
No.
Pugwis.
No, it was. What?
There's Sebulba's son and grandson. There's
Pugwis is the grandson.
Okay, it's Hakula that he's coaching.
Oh yes, Hakula.
Yeah. I get those two confused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there is the big line. He says, "I'm not afraid to die, Skywalker." And Anakin asks, "Maybe not, but are you afraid to lose?" And he responds, "Sebulba does not." And he stops. Then it hit him. Why was he here today? Just to die out of spite. Sebulba was here today because he was seeking revenge on a man who had beaten him as a child. He spent the last 10 years dwelling on this. Time to let it go. Sebulba looked at Skywalker, gave him a nod, and then they do the big trick that saves everybody.
Spinning. In a way.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, so that was a fun tale to edit. That was probably my biggest editing influence story-wise, I think. As long as you don't count the ones where I was just outright writing Vito and the announcers.
Yeah.
I think everybody else I was pretty grammar oriented.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a fun one to get to be a part of. And then somehow in there you ended up with another pod racer.
Yes. That wasn't my choice. I highly avoided doing that part of it, actually. But that was crunch time too. It was Granny the Toe Lord, who was a great influence into ReExpanded. Actually, was the one to make the server itself and pioneered F Canon, which we essentially absorbed. Had signed up to do Gascano.
F Canon. All my
yes.
Canon.
He actually lives in Buffalo, where I live, and should I say that? Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. So we hung out.
Small.
Yeah, exactly. So we hung out. We actually discussed it.
You could be talking about Buffalo, Minnesota.
That's true. That's true. And he called me one day, and he said, "What if Gascano had a trainer, and he was putting spice in his milkshakes?" And this is because of a video Brennan had made at the time, which was I can't even remember what it was called. It was like this children's game where you would click around and you could select one of 4 pod racers. I think it was called like Anakin's Journey. And
I have no recollection. I've never heard about this.
Yeah, no, this is very niche. It's like a computer game from 2000. But like one made for children. So there's not like gameplay, uh, because each character, I think it's Anakin, Saboba, uh, Gasgano, and Mahanic.
Okay.
The four of them are the centerpieces of this interactive experience, and each of them has a favorite drink.
Okay.
And so Gasgano pops out, and it's like Gasgano loves milkshakes. So we just rolled with it.
Did the shakes even make it into the final story?
No, because Carcer Hermas, Gasgano's trainer, and we can kind of talk about where all of these concepts came from. But the long story short is Granny went outside and touched grass, and he did not communicate through Discord anymore. So I decided that I would write this purely because Gasgano is on the cover.
Fair.
Yeah. So I was not going to be put in a position where I'm like, okay, this guy's on the cover, but he doesn't have a tail. He's like right up there.
Like Hemdazin in Mos Eisley Cantina.
That is true.
Or in Jabba's palace on the spine, there's that, is it the wart? Does not have a tail.
The dog frog?
I don't think it's the frog dog. It's the one that's outside Jabba's palace.
Yeah,
I reference the species in my Tuscan's Tale because it's the first time he's ever seen a face, and he describes Anakin as having lips like one of these guys. I think. No, wait, no, I don't know what I don't remember what I referenced. This guy on the spine never gets a.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it a wart? I feel like it's a wart with two.
I don't know what he's called.
WORTT. Yeah, he's in that exterior establishing shot of the palace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he never got a tail, even though he's on mine. That's my future. There's Tales from Tales. It's either him or Hemdazin, or there's the Pacific in the cantina. Since I've already wrote one Pacific story, gotta go.
It could be the same guy.
No, they have names. Well, they do now. I guess they didn't in Legends. That's fair.
Yeah.
That would have been a tale. Just to really screw over with canon, we're going to take your Betalim and retcon him into being... I just looked up this guy, and I can't think of it. It's like Coltex or something. That's in the cantina. He's got a name. So anyway, so you did Gasgano because he was on the cover, which I guess is a fair way to go about that.
Yeah. So I start writing.
Was that before I got involved then?
No.
Okay.
No. I think you joined me in the summer.
Yep.
And
I volunteered for Beto first, and then I got Tuscan, and then I got announcer last minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I wrote Gasgano's Tale in September.
Okay, so that was pretty late. Yeah, I do remember editing that one pretty late.
So I was working with that. Yeah. Oh, my camera did something.
A little bit.
But, yeah. Carcer Hermas is the POV character because I think Gasgano is too disturbing of an individual that I do not want to be inside of his head. It's sort of a Sherlock Holmes situation where it just would not make sense to people. Yeah. Because he's very logical weird. Is not the right word. Yeah.
He's illogical.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just the way the Zexto brain processes things it seemed necessary to bring someone else in. And originally, their relationship was a lot more of Hermas being the aggressor,
Well, yeah, he
and
was going to put the
basically,
spice in Gasgano's milkshake. And now
yeah,
it's sort of reversed, where it's Gasgano peer pressuring Hermas into taking the spice.
hmm yeah. It was you. You can kind of see if you read Sebulba's tale and then Gasgano's tale that I really uh, came into the writing, because the first 3 pages of Gasgano's tale, uh, they're some of the best things I've written in ReExpanded as of yet.
Oh, really?
With the Stark Hyperspace War, I just thought to myself that was such
The only
a
thing that
niche
ever happened on
reference.
Troikan.
Yeah, it was just so convenient, you know.
Sure.
But Hermas needed to be a small character, someone that could occupy the scenes hidden. So I made him a Zilkin,
Yep.
which was the smallest thing I could find that was um, what was it, bipedal and
Yeah,
kind of humanoid shaped.
sure.
Yeah.
I remember you asked me about species, and I really tried to come up with a alternative that didn't involve TCW. And I
I
think
know.
I came up with a couple, but yeah, they weren't as bipedal.
Yeah.
So that was, why did he need to be small? Like, why couldn't he have just been a normal sized person, like standing next to Gascano like every other coach in history?
I think it was a matter of um, Gascano appearing in multiple sources, and he's never mentioned. So I
Oh,
think
sure.
in him not being mentioned by people, I needed him to be someone that was small enough that you wouldn't even consider that he was in the room when Gascano was around.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And that comes up again. Won't that's there's an actual spoiler that I'll avoid. Uh,
Yeah.
but to tease a little bit, that Carcer Hermas's small size does come into play in future
Yeah.
ReExpanded. And then the glitter stem makes you telepathic and see the future. I know there was some kind of references to that on Wikipedia, as sort of those are things that have been said about the glitter stem, and
Mhm.
you pretty firmly establish that those powers are at least a little bit real.
To an extent, I think. Oh, am
Yeah.
I still here?
Yeah, there's every once in a while one of our Wi-Fi is being spotty.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, part of me always liked to imagine that Glitterstim was actually just like all around terrible, and like people were hallucinating, and that's why they thought they were telepathic or seeing the future.
Yeah.
Um,
At least in the way that I had intended to write it, I felt like I left it open
sure.
to a point at least.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, it's not a lot of real specific things that come to fruition.
Yeah. And the
Where
only time we see it, or actually, I think there's two
what do you
times where Hermas
we
does spice.
we see Sebulba not finishing, uh, and then obviously that happens quite exactly.
Mm,
You go and yeah, I gotta figure out. Yeah, this was early, I think. Yeah, because it was before Mahonic's Tale.
yeah.
Um, uh, but yeah, he's got that little scene where he sees like Sebulba crash. He turned and looked at Gasgano and saw Sebulba's pod breaking up and coming to a stop before the finish line. Sebulba would not win the Boonta, is his vision. So that
Wow.
was probably not a prediction one would make. without some special powers. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk
I
about.
guess I can and I. Oh,
Yeah,
hello.
you're lagging a little bit. You're slowly. I can hear you, but you kind of come and go.
Okay. The last thing you wanted to talk about.
With last thing with Gasgano's tale that I
Mm.
totally forgot about on my first reading, but stuck out to me as I reread is Carcer has this random conversation with Rum Sleg, and then and then it ends with like, okay, he tells Rum like, so tell me about yourself, and then Rum says like, okay, here's the story, and then it cuts off to the next scene. And I thought that was just so like intriguing. And now I've got this urge of I want to know what the deal with Rum Sleg is. Like, was this supposed to be a tale?
I think a lot of the rum sleg was born from me realizing that rum sleg was, popular enough to have an action figure.
Yeah.
Um, but I forgot about him because he just sort of appears in the background.
He
So
should have
that
been
was
our
me
Galbraith.
trying to acknowledge him.
Sure. The kind of deal we did with
Yeah,
Galbraith of like him being
yeah.
the mysterious background character in all the stories, that could have been Rum Sleg. Where
Mhm.
I don't know, now I want to make him like a just kind of a recurring Easter egg in re-expanded stories where he just shows where like he's got like 20 appearances and like
Mhm.
all of them are super vague. Like he's just standing
Yeah.
there and like briefly talks and then nobody ever like
He's like the
explains to
guy
the
in
reader.
Spy Kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then beyond the writing, obviously you had a more more formal role as the it started off as the editor and then became one of the editors. So that was obviously quite a lot of work.
Mhm.
And one of the things I was going to ask with that is, did your education help with that? Because you've got some kind of literary degrees, right?
Yes, yes. So I have a bachelor's degree in English literature. Um, Creative writing was is something I participated in college in more of a hobby capacity, extracurriculars, because my university did not see a lot of value in genre fiction.
Sure.
And so when I took a creative writing course, I was very much dissuaded from taking it any further because I was going to be writing things I wasn't interested in.
Sure.
Yeah. Um, and then now as a librarian, just the fact that I read a lot of Star Wars books, uh, I felt like I could probably edit this comparably.
Yeah.
I didn't actually start as the editor. I was the showrunner, I guess. I mean,
You
I
were the
was going to write a
producer.
tale and I recruited people. Yeah, something along those lines. And at some point, I said to myself, why don't I edit?
Somebody's got. Did you have anybody
Yeah.
else in mind to edit?
Uh, I think there were people that I had asked, but I don't think that anything came of it.
Okay.
It's, aside from writing a full tale, um, to, to ask someone to read all of these stories and then uh, edit them without doing it myself would have been like the largest workload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Yes.
And then in that process, did any other stories get major alterations? Um, I know going through my own recollections of my editing, I don't remember changing much outside of Sebulba's tale.
Mhm.
Did you have any major story changes that you had to make, or
Uh, changes. I don't know if I would use that word, but I definitely wrote into some of the stories. Um, Gardula's tale. I added in. There's a subplot about. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Snuva's in it,
Yep.
and I kind of added in this whole rivalry with a random Trandoshan.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Diva
Funkita?
Funquila. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
her and that little yellow guy who's in the comic.
Not
He's
familiar.
also in. Um,
I'll have to take your word for it.
yeah. He's in an old Shadows of the Empire tie-in.
Was he
Basically,
the
the thing.
Feline dancer?
No.
No, then I
He's
don't
just
know.
like a little nebbish man. Um,
Okay.
that he basically
Well,
holds the door open
okay.
when people come in.
Huh,
So the
okay.
two of them, I basically decided that they needed to be in the story. So I picked certain spots where I could put them and have them react to what's going on. Um, I felt like that wasn't so much altering what was written, but adding to
Yeah.
it.
And was clearly a huge impact since we both remember both their names.
Yes. Um, there's a line at the near the end of the Spacer's Tale, which was basically he pauses the story
Yep.
and he's like, "Mark my words," or if you have any takeaways from this, spinning is a good trick, very good trick.
Oh, I forgot about that line.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the way end. Huh. Um,
Oh, I also changed that because Anakin asks a question. I'm not sure what he asked originally, but it didn't
yeah.
make much sense. So I was like, I'm just going to alter this.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that ending was kind of weak originally, and we had
Mm.
to sort through that a little bit. Um, were there any other stories that were challenging to edit with some of the more reclusive authors? Because as I recall, we didn't have as much of a with the current day tales, the editing is pretty smooth, where we get usually everybody on the Google Drive
Mm-hmm.
pretty quickly once it's done, and we've got the comment system. Everybody's on the Discord, and we've got our spreadsheet and everything. We really did not have any of that at the time, where there were people not on the Discord. There were people
Mm-hmm.
that were sending PDFs of the stories. We couldn't, comment like we would with the docs and
They
stuff.
still send PDFs of the stories.
You know,
I don't know what I could possibly say at this point to keep people from sending me a PDF of their story. I can't edit it.
yeah. Well, I sometimes I download it and I get my little notes app and I just like take the
Mm-hmm.
red pen thing and I just go go at it that
Yeah.
way. And
Which
then I'd send it
quickly,
back to him.
this is who I was referring to. His name is Oh No.
Huh, that's a cool
Yeah.
looking guy. Now I want to write his tale.
Yeah.
I like my weird aliens.
Oh yes.
Case in point, besieged. The other tales, the tales I didn't have quite as many choices.
Hmm.
Although I did still make Anyuth Canavar not bipedal, so
Yes, that
I worked
I
where I could.
I am sure in the future we are going to run into a lot of instances where people are going to not make those guys look like centaurs.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Well, how many people really want to write about Tarnab anyway?
That's
I
true.
didn't even know I didn't even know the Tarnab species existed before writing
Hmm.
Canavar's Tale, and I'm like the species guy under
Yeah,
Brent
it's a movie
now.
species too.
Yeah, but barely.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize all the movie appearances originally. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's the driver in uh in Phantom Menace when
Mm-hmm.
they on the speeder, and I didn't realize that until after the tale was done. Um,
Yeah.
but then I'm looking at that scene and I'm like, just think, all I can think is like he's sitting in like a normal looking chair. You can't
Mm-hmm.
see his bottom, but like where are his back legs going? Like this is some kind of specially designed speeder where there's got to be like a hole in the back of the chair
Mm-hmm.
or
I mean, so
something.
much like the pan ship. At
I
what point did someone decide, oh, yeah, I know that they look like they are full height, but they actually wear special legs?
Oh, the Pacific?
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
Pacific.
yeah. Yeah, and that's my story now. And I believe it or not, do you know when I found that out? Well, okay. I I found that out. I was reading it. I was looking through like Pacific images as I
Mm,
was researching this just to get, I don't know, some knowledge. And I stumbled across this like RPG like somebody had posted like a screenshot of their RPG character sheet that was a Pacific. And it
mm-hmm,
had a little annotation on there that was like he wears stilts to make him look more humanoid. And I was like, what the heck? And I pulled out my Ultimate Alien anthology and I didn't see anything like that in there.
mm,
And I pulled out my own species guide, and I didn't see anything like that in there. And I pulled out Wikipedia, and I didn't see anything like that in there. And it was literally today I was reading Wikipedia on Pacifics again. I don't, oh, because I wanted to include some stuff about the caste system. And I was like,
mm,
maybe there's whatever. I got to figure out like what does it mean to have scholar tusks? And we don't know. We just know that they have different tusks.
mm,
Anyway, and I was reading through there, and then I found not in any of the text, but there's an image in like the behind the scenes section that's captioned and it says like Pacific wear stilts to add to their height. And then I went on this whole rabbit hole of like, yes, so in episode one, they included normal looking Pacific, humanoid Pacific, but then
mm,
in the Terrell Whitlatch book, they've got these very not humanoid Pacific where they have like stubby, super stubby legs and they've got this massive tail. And it's like, how do these guys just look like normal looking humanoids?
mm-hmm.
So then they came up with that stilts retcon that shows up in a StarWars.com uh data what's the data
Oh,
block
data
thing?
bank.
Databank, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the databank article on the Cantina Pacific that established it. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta go edit Betalim. And now Betalim wears stilts.
Yeah.
So there we go. So now I have two species. So now both of the species that I've written for these two tales have involved like some sorts of like retcons, making them not look like bipeds.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Any other stories in the Boonta Eve? We'll try to get a little back on track that you want to talk about that were some of your favorites in that
Mm.
collection.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I remember very fondly Neva Key's tale.
Yes.
Yeah. I
That
think
one
that
was really
was
good.
yeah. It was also like the first one that was submitted to me.
Yeah,
I remember a period of probably 6 months where I got people talking about like their plans for the story, and
yeah,
I'd say, "How's it going?" And they're like, "I haven't written anything yet, but I'm thinking,"
yep,
and I'm freaking out because I got all the people to sign up, and I wasn't sure if it was going to actually happen. But I mean, once I
yeah.
got past like 15 people submitting their tales, I was like, I think it's going to happen.
And it
uh,
did.
yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was
Yeah, I love Nebuchadnezzar's
someone
tale. Just
else.
kind of the plot twist and the way that all went down was
Hmm.
super interesting.
Yeah.
And I did not see it coming, but it
Hmm.
made
Oh,
sense like after the fact.
yeah. Wayne Sandage.
Oh, on my shirt
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
from
His tale was so trippy.
I should reread that one because I've got his shirt. I just
Yeah,
remember that I don't know. I don't remember a lot happening in it.
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
No,
He's
no, it wasn't
thinking of
conversational. It was very much. It
he's
was one
thinking
of
about stuff
those.
on his
Yeah,
deathbed.
yeah,
Yeah. And then what was the Arc Roos was fantastic. That was that was kind of the foreshadowing of Cryptic's writing just long,
yes.
super long stories.
that
But
that was born from because Cryptix did not sign up initially.
really,
He
and he
he
was
came in
like
later.
you said he was like the partner in crime for the earliest Reexpanded, right? So like
Oh
when you were
yes.
starting this, like he was basically the right-hand man for you in
Hmm.
terms of recruiting authors.
Yeah, he wanted to
Ironic.
focus on writing other
Recruit other
things.
authors.
Yeah.
Knock yourself.
uh, I think it was around the summer. He
Okay.
was in the server too, uh, but he didn't have a tail because at that
Huh.
point the Tales server was almost re-expanded, and I was using it
Sure.
in that capacity. But he said to me, "Can I write a Mandalorian?" And I said, "Only if you heavily feature a character that's I think I said a pod racer because
Yeah.
it was still more I'm just
We got
realizing I think we have more not pod racers in that collection than not or
it's got to be
than pod
close.
racers because I think
Let
there's only
me
12
I feel like there's
and
more.
Anakin's not in
Teamto,
there.
Teamto Pelages, Eldar Beto, Ebe Endicott, Odie Mandrell, uh, Rats Tyrell is our fifth, Juan Sandage six, Nevaki seven, Sebulba eight, Zelbri nine, Clegg Holdfast 10, Elon Mack 11, Ark Roos 12, Mahonic 13, Gasgiano 14, Dudbolt 15, Ben Quadraneros 16, Bullsrur is 17 pod racers. So there you go. We got the majority pod racers.
Yeah, interesting.
So in Racer Revenge, when because you mentioned that there's 12 contestants in that race, so it must not have let you play as everybody. I suppose they didn't have Zelbri in the game,
No,
but
Zelbri
yeah.
wasn't in the game. Wan Sandage is canonically
Well,
dead by then.
so he was replaced by Wan Sandage Jr.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. So I guess there were 16 pod racers in the movie then. Oh no, and
Yeah.
if you include Anakin, then you're back up to 17,
Hmm.
and then Zelbri gets you 18. And then you got Quinlan Voss and Oris Singh got a real prominent spot on the cover. That's a fun combination.
Yeah, yeah. That that's it goes into how these Tales worked a lot of the time, where this character is doing something very important, but we're not seeing it. We're
Yeah.
only seeing them at like the most domestic part of their story. So I'm thinking they never explain what Quinlan Voss is doing. I mean, they tell you
Yeah.
what Aura Singh is doing later, but I
Okay.
I came up with, and I pitched this uh, to the authors, that um, they were both. There was going to be like this intrigue plot line where um, one of them wants a certain pod racer to win, and the other one needs that pod racer to lose.
Dang, that would have been
And
cool.
yeah, so that's how they would have been working against each other. Which then I'm like, they don't fight on Tatooine. It's a missed opportunity, and it was the culmination of the collection. I kind of at the time pictured it as the climax of the
Sure.
anthology. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been cool to tie that to one of the pod racers.
Mm-hmm.
So then as things were wrapping up, we got, I would say, a whole lot of unexpected publicity
Mm-hmm.
with the anthology. You had Star Wars fan animations, you had Brennan doing stuff on his YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
and you had Ben was really going at it on Instagram too.
Yeah. I myself
Um,
was posting a few things on Instagram, but at some point it just didn't seem like it was uh, necessary.
yeah,
Yeah, and I was going out of my way to crop these tails in such a way that they'd look nice as Instagram style pictures.
sure.
So I just
Yeah,
let the others take care of it.
yeah, it's still kind of funny because like at least before now, hopefully this can get up there because the AO3 stuff doesn't show up on Google for
Hmm.
whatever reason. So like it's kind of all these like third party, you know, more not official re-expanded like the re-expanded anything. It's
Hmm.
Ben and it's when you Google search for this stuff, it's Ben stuff that I think and fan animations that pops up first
Yeah.
generally. And then we didn't have a lot of issues with word count on this one, right? It came in under 200,000,
Hmm.
um, I believe. And
It's a thick book
it's
still,
a it's a
but
it's a yeah, this thing my paperback is 614 pages for
mm,
the bulk, if you don't count
there's a
the
copy
mobile
of it.
epilogue.
There's a copy of it in my local library, which I loaned out to my old boss's husband, who is an EU fan, and I get this book back. Now I didn't talk to him directly. My boss told me that he said the font was too small.
Yeah, it is pretty small.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but but we
not
did
much
have
you
to
can do
do
about
that
that.
to make it work.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think it's yeah.
Just
Um,
also the way paperbacks work. If you go over 400 pages, a lot of the time
it's
it's harder to
unreadable.
hold. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that with my Outlander Club print is worse. That one, I think it's the same font size but more line spacing
Yeah.
and about 8,000 extra words of text in that one. So that one's almost 800 pages and I've like not opened it. It just looks nice on my shelf. If I need to look up one of those stories, I just go to the Google Docs or AO3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely
But
agree.
But this one I think is a reasonable size. Keeping it under, under 700, I
Hmm.
mean, just about 650. Like I don't feel like I can't read Boonta, but
Yeah.
I've got good eyes when my glasses are on. So
Hmm.
there you go. And then we staggered the releases on AO3. Was it always every other day? Has that been the process?
I think that Boonta was every day.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that was a 1 month release
hmm
in September and November, I think we got that out. Maybe
Um,
or no.
yes, because
I know I
Boonta was
printed it.
finished before Black Friday.
Yeah, oh yes, that was the big
Yeah.
deadline. That was the stress.
Yeah, because
That
at
I
that point
remember.
it wasn't about presenting it to people. It was all in
Can
the
we get
name
the
of
Lulu orders to save the
yes.
15% or whatever? Did you have much involvement? How stressful was that for you? Because I remember, I mean, the big pushes were there were a couple authors that were trying to get finished. Stuart had, well, double duty if he was doing the hardcover stuff and he
hmm
had to finish up Mars Guo and he was doing those at the last minute, and then I remember putting in a ton of hours on like some of those days where I
Yeah, I
was
think
just
you
like,
told me you took off work. I think you
I don't know
used your vacation time for this. Or at
that
least you
does sound
said
like
you wanted to.
actually that does sound like something that happened now that I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, where because I did the paperback conversion, and that was where, I mean, you can see there's a bit of a divergence where Stewart kind of lined things up with the Del Rey books,
hmm
where he was kind of thinking like, well, what if this were a story published in like 2001 or something, like shortly
Yeah.
after Phantom Menace? And
hmm
I'm thinking like, well, I wanted to look like the Bantam ones because that's, kind of the series we're in.
hmm
So I had to do a ton of changes there. And that's been
Yeah.
something then that we've kept up now, where Outlander's the same way, where the hardcover and paperback look a bit different.
hmm
And what else did I mean, I guess I was just doing a bunch of editing with everybody. Did you have a lot that you were doing at the end, or you were kind of done with your editing at that point?
Uh, I I think that I had uh, kind of given you a good deal of the editing parts because I was what was I working on? I think I was mostly
Outlander?
just trying to no
Because that
no
was
I
starting
was
up.
mostly yeah I was trying to coordinate with people at that time.
I
Um,
remember being behind
just,
on Outlander, and I partially blame Boonta.
yeah.
But then, yeah.
Well, okay, so that is the other part being I think we gave Outlander 6 months
What did
off the bat. Yeah. So
that
I tried to reduce the production by half because I thought the fact that no one was working on their stories for the first 6 months would have
Yeah.
uh, yeah I could have skipped that, but that's not how that works.
I mean, in theory, it can be. There's really no reason to need 6 months to write a tale. Um,
Yeah.
but I
Maybe
don't
if we
know.
were professional
Yeah.
writers, it would be something we were more stringent on.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think they've worked out. And then, I mean, really, the last thing about this story is how would you say it's impacted the rest of ReExpanded in terms of, I mean, how many authors have come into the project via this? How many people have kind of been inspired to start their own things? Like, obviously, it's got the follow-up Tales anthologies, but
Hmm.
any other particular things you want to shout out with the lasting impacts of this?
Uh, yeah, I mean, you'll see in the notes, author, no, the letter from the editor that we put in the newest galaxies. Um, Boonta is synonymous with ReExpanded. I don't think that one can exist without the other. It just the amount of passion that this group put together to create this. Um, I mean, it's people were telling me it was probably the first successful group effort within the EU.
Of any fanfic. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Hmm.
I can't think of I can't think of any like collaborations that involved that many people that succeeded and that were
Hmm.
cohesive like that, really. And I don't know how many other fandoms would be able to say so either, because I mean, if Star Wars can't do it, a lot of other fandoms, pretty much every other fandom
Hmm.
is smaller in terms of the fan fiction content, where
Yeah, there you wouldn't get
you,
the variety of stories
yeah,
anywhere else. I don't think.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure, it's really genre independent, and that's
Hmm.
something that's cool with Star Wars is you can really write anything in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Um, and and you see that for sure in Boonta, where
Hmm.
I mean, I mean, you've got comedy with Deadbolt. You've got some like just really depressing stuff with Rats Tyrell.
Hmm.
You've got um, I don't even know how you describe Juan Sandage's tale. Like just
Or
kind of
Clegg
a
Holdfast.
yeah, that was something. Um, but you got some adventure, you got some more actiony kind of stuff. You got mystery with Neva Key, basically.
Hmm.
Um, you've got some of the stuff obviously feels pretty sci-fi, like you think about like the Spacer's Tale, and then some
Hmm.
that's more mystical. Just all
Yeah.
kinds of different stuff you can do.
Hmm.
And really did bear some fruit. I think I assume Cryptix is Solvin Getrick character that's started to show up in a lot of stuff, as well as Cathar Fell from Hanson's Tale. Those are both characters they had kind of planned beforehand, right? Those weren't strictly
I,
Boonta creations.
I believe Cathar had been depicted um, and had like backstory,
Yeah.
but Solvin Getrick was. Um, I think that he did get his start
Oh, really?
within these
Yeah.
stories. Yeah,
Okay. And
I
now
think
that's
that
kind of
Cryptix
faded
did want to
away.
write a Mandalorian, but
But that obviously didn't
outside of
do.
that, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because he's kind of showing up all over the place now. And yeah, it's just, I mean, you continue to see the ripples. You've seen a lot of these characters show up in Tales. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that's kind of made the bridge into novels. Um, there might be some. There's going to be some Tales references in How Liberty Dies, but that's not
Hmm.
a re-expanded
Yeah.
one. You'll see when that comes out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else that's done stuff outside of the Tales anthologies with their Tales characters, though.
Because most of our authors don't write things that happen after that.
Yeah, well, or you've got, like Cthulhu's stuff is like way after with
Yeah,
like Empire
I
of Ashes
guess.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's got to be our challenge to Cthulhu, because she can like reference just about anything. Is
Hmm.
I want like two or three references to the Tales anthology in the next Empire of Ashes book. That would be fun, and it would totally
Definitely.
fit.
I thought of one being not strictly re-expanded, but Vetin
Yeah,
1138
the Mando guy.
writing Kalen not Farlander
Farnmere?
Farnmere, yeah. I always confuse her with Phelan Sandskimmer.
Wow, that's wow. Okay.
Yeah. But I think she's kind of a big deal in his series.
It might snow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
having her kind of, I think
Yeah.
this is sort of a prequel for that character.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that where people kind of
Hmm.
had existing stories that then they brought their characters from those stories into the
Yeah.
tales. And now that's kind of cool where you've got this sort of web now that connects those two universes together,
Hmm.
where you get that, somebody like say the White Snow series now sort of has to take place in the same universe as the Hot 45 stories because
Hmm.
they're both like referencing things that show up in the same book and reference each other. So
Yeah.
like you can kind of follow these leads and build a web of connections, which really puts the tales kind of at the center of ReExpanded, it feels like. So
Hmm.
that's been a cool project.
Yeah. I mean, given the way that we work on them now, they instantly become canon.
Yes, because we've got the four. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems and it does seem you still like we still get a few new people each iteration, so
Hmm.
who knows how many authors are going to come in to ReExpanded long term through some of these because
Yeah.
some of them seem to like Brennan was is he's back on the ReExpanded Discord now. He had that Jason story he was going to do for ReExpanded, and he
Oh
got into
yes.
and like that was all through Tales, right? Like that was kind of his bridge into ReExpanded.
Yeah. I mean, I had run into Brennan a few times being in the Sith Empire, and the
Oh,
second
cool.
that I mentioned the Tales anthology to him, he very quickly was very enthusiastic. I mean, uh, at that time, I mean, what Brennan was 17 when uh,
Dang.
the first one was coming out, and at that time he wanted to go into writing, and now he's in college. He's going
Yeah,
to school learning English.
there we go.
Uh, so it's a natural step. I'm very
Yeah,
very happy to have him. Honored, as some might say.
honored. Yes, it is absolutely an honor to get to work with all of these people involved in Tales
Mhm.
because it's quite an effort and just a very very diverse bunch of skill sets um, and a super cool project. So any closing thoughts from you on the Tales?
Well, we're done with our primary bundle, but I think there will always be tales to
There will
tell.
always be Tales.
And
Yeah.
we can't end this without giving you credit for all that you've done with this, Wayne, because I don't know what I was going to actually do editing this by myself.
Yeah, I didn't know either. That's why I just kind of forced my way in there.
Yeah, I
But
definitely
thank
needed
you.
it.
Um, it's been a pleasure,
Yeah.
and um, it definitely wouldn't be as fun to write if it weren't if it weren't appearing alongside other polished stories. Um,
Oh yeah. That I mean the polish is really,
it's the first
it
thing
does so
people see.
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, to see someone writing or no, to come across one of these stories on AO3 by itself, I can't imagine how jarring.
yeah,
Uh, if you're just scrolling through trying to find something to read and it's referencing things you can't even find on Wikipedia.
yeah. Yeah, it would probably be pretty jarring, which is why I think this YouTube channel is going to be important to try to get kind of people with an overall framework and maybe a way to find some of these stories that also references the other related stories, I think
Mm-hmm.
is going to be important.
Yeah.
So,
Stay tuned, viewers, because we're going to be
yes.
working on some reading rainbow type book talks to kind of give you a quick summary on some of the stories that we have under our umbrella.
Yes, and there will also be some trailers upcoming for Tales from the Galaxy's Opera House, which will be releasing starting on the 15th of March, I believe. Yes, March
All goes well.
15th. March
Yeah.
15th is 2 weeks from the recording. We'll have some stories for you from the opera house that brought you the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Will be
So
more tales.
yes, so stay tuned for all of that. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and we'll have more stories and more videos coming your way. Thank you very much, Nick, for joining us, and we'll see you all in the next one.